Thanks for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts or listen to music. When you have an opportunity, please give us a 5-star review, write a little note, tell us how we're doing. We really appreciate it. It helps us keep this thing going. If you want to reach out to us, you can find us at Facebook at Hidden Tracks. Instagram is at HiddenTracks99, and if you'd like to send in submissions or talk to us or give us any feedback about what we're doing, our email is myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy the show. What's up, everybody? I have Anthony here from an awesome band based out of Brooklyn, found through all of my time searching through music. The name of the band is Tired Radio. There's one thing that'll happen is you'll never get tired of hearing the sweet, sweet sounds that Anthony creates, and I'm happy to have him here on the show. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
What's up, Shane? I'm doing all right, man. Of course, as soon as we start recording, there's like...
There's New York traffic.
New York honking their fucking horns everywhere. Yeah. I'm like, I should have shut this window, but we're rolling now. Let's just roll with the punches.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I mean, laying on the horn just goes to show that you're surrounded by assholes all the time, every day, and this is our one moment where we can hopefully have two assholes that become friends at the end of the show. So.
Yeah, man, I love that. That's a great way. That should be the new tagline for the show: 2 assholes who become friends.
So again, there's not much more I can say about the music because it really just is what it is, and it's one of those things where there's there's no time to label genre anybody with any subgenres anymore. So I just force people to listen to music, and hopefully someone's going to listen to it and love it. For you, in your creation of this whole project, I mean, and creating the music, where did it come from? What was your inspiration, and what led to everything that you're doing today?
Oh man, I don't know where to start with that. Do I go back to the beginnings of music and me, or
we'll do that as we go along. Let's hit Tired Radio and how this became the thing that you're doing now.
Yeah, I mean, with Tired Radio, I was in a bad place when I started this project, man. I was going through a pretty bad breakup with a girl who I was pretty convinced I was going to spend the rest of my life with. And
but bad breakups lead to great music. So.
Ain't that the truth, man? Yeah, I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? And I look back now, and I guess I'm thankful it happened, because I don't think there would be Tired Radio without that breakup. I really I was kind of just stuck in bed for a while, and I had a job where I could make my own hours, and I wasn't making those hours because I was just feeling really fucking depressed, man. And I needed something to keep me occupied and keep my mind off of that. And I had a bunch of demos that I had started writing in like 2015, 2016. Couple of half-written songs. There wasn't a single full song yet. Just like I tend to write pieces of songs and then give up on them. So I had a bunch of that lying around in GarageBand, and I decided, one day to drag my ass out of bed and open one of those songs and just finish it. And so that's I guess how it was born. I started finishing these demos, and then I was catching up with an old friend on the phone. And I was telling him, I've been working on music again, because it had been a while since I had worked on anything. And he was like, oh, send it to me, And I'm very timid when it comes to my demos. I don't have the highest self-esteem. I think everything I do is not that very good. And, this is...
you make them for yourself.
Yeah, that's what this always was. It was, it was for me. And, but this is a lifelong friend. This is a friend that I've known since I was 12 or 13 years old. We played in a band together in high school. So I trusted him. And so I sent him the demos. And I guess maybe it was about an hour after I sent the demos over, I get another phone call from him. And he's just like, dude, are you putting me on? And I'm just like, what? And he's like, you wrote these songs. And I'm like, yeah, man. And he was just like, these are fucking incredible, dude. He's like, you need to put these out, you need to do something with it. And, for a good week, I was just like, yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you blowing smoke. But he just was, he was every day consistent. Like, you got to put these out. You got to put these out. So that kind of, he was gassing me up and that inspired me. And I was like, maybe I do have something here. I showed it to some more friends and they were like, yeah, this is great. So I guess that's the humble beginnings of how the wheels got going on Tired Radio.
And once the wheels started rolling and you start rolling in and putting things together and polishing them up and start releasing singles and everything, was there forward thinking of continuing on? I mean, because you start releasing singles and Patterns comes out now with Lousy Thanks, which is fucking phenomenal.
Oh, thanks, man.
Was there forward thinking to be like, because sometimes if someone kind of pushes you a little forward, right, to get something started, for the first little bit that you're doing it, you're just like, I don't know. It's kind of how I was with this show when someone pushed me to finally do it. And I was just like getting it started. And I'm just like, I don't know, man, this isn't any. And then it's almost like a song by my 10th episode, which is 10 songs on an album. I was like, okay, maybe this can be a thing. Did that kind of happen for you, or was it, all right, now that the wheels are going, I'm not going to stop, or was it constant thinking and going back?
everything with me is self-doubt. So it took, I owe so much to everybody involved in this. So Tired Radio was a solo project. It started as a solo project. Um, you know, fuck, man, I'm going to rewind 1 second real quick, because I feel like I didn't, I told the story from Patterns on. I mean, I did release 2 singles in 2017 completely as a solo project. Those were like the first 2 songs I wrote. And I just kind of wanted to put something out that I was proud of. And then Tired Radio kind of just, after those 2 songs came out and nobody cared, I just kind of tucked it back, in my pocket. Yeah. So yeah, the story of the beginnings was more after those 2 singles in 2019, when I like kind of officially consider Tired Radio really starting up as a band. So yeah, to go back now to your question, after that happened and I went into the studio to record Patterns, I recorded everything, but I didn't trust myself to record drums. I am a drummer, but I haven't played in a long time, and I really wanted. I'm very particular about drums. I think they're so important in a song, and I wanted a good drummer on the record. So I reached out.
That's why drummers are so hard to deal with, man.
Dude, yeah, it's true. But you gotta, if you find a good drummer, you put up with their bullshit. So I reached out to my friend Kevin, who was a coworker of mine, who I knew was an incredible drummer. I've seen him play before, but I didn't know if he played rock drums. Like, I knew him as a jazz drummer. And he was like, I reached out, I sent him the demos, and he was all about him. And then I found out, like, his music taste was really, we grew up on the same shit, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know you were into this type of music. So we really connected there. And he came down to the studio and he laid down the drums on Patterns. And now at that time, like, I was just recording a record to put out a record that I was proud of. Like, there was no thought of starting a band. There was no thought of touring. I wanted to, my friend Stefan gassed me up enough to convince me to record these songs. And I just wanted to put something out that I was proud of. And it was really Kevin who the whole time in the studio was like, dude, we got to get a band together. This shit is so good. People are going to love it. Like, we got to get a band together. And I was like, I don't know, man. I was really just thinking that it would be the same deal as the first 2 singles I dropped, where I would put the record out and just no one would really care, which is fine. I mean, it's really, we live in an age where it's, how do you break through that fucking noise, man? Like, it's difficult. But I remember
in this show, that's how you do it. That's
exactly, dude.
Breaking through the noise on this show.
That's why I'm here right now. But I remember, I can so vividly remember being in the studio and like listening back to like the songs at the end of the day when we were recording them, and like being so proud of them. And like, I remember saying to Kevin, like, man, it would be so fucking cool if, like, I don't know, we could get a small label that would want to put this on vinyl. It would be a dream come true to have music on vinyl. And then like the next day we'd be listening back and I'd be like, man, it would be so fucking cool if like we could get any of these songs to reach over 1,000 listens on fucking Spotify. Like the goals were really small, but these are things that were like, I thought would be so awesome. That's where my head was at. And, dude, I shit you not, the record came out, and in 5 days later, I get an email from the dude Stefan, who throws a festival in Hamburg, Germany called Booze Cruise, and he's also like a big show booker out there. And he was like, I love your record. Would you guys have any interest in coming to tour Europe? This is like 5 days after the record came out. Like, we don't even have a band yet. And I was like, wait a second. I was like, is this a fucking joke? That was the moment I was like, okay, well, I gotta put together a band, because it seems like maybe, some dreams can come true here. So that's how that started.
Yeah. Well, that just led to your self-doubt with that was those first two singles, and then your validation comes so quickly with someone reaching out to you like that. I mean, that just right there, that should keep the band going for at least 8 years. Like I put something like that, you put a timeline as you're talking about setting your goals really small. Now let's set a timeline for the band to be what it is. And, like that's one of those things where we focus so much on the 5% of the bullshit that we have inside of ourselves when we forget about the 95% of the good stuff.
Right. It's so easy to let the 5% of the bullshit take control, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than letting the 95% of the good do its thing. But yeah, the validation was unreal, man. I mean, I still to this day, I don't want to be dramatic, but I mean, I've seen like some of my wildest fucking dreams come true, all because I put out this record, and I just never thought, before this, I had played in bands in high school and stuff, but we never did anything. We played local shows, and I had dreamed of touring and things like that. But I'm fucking 37 now. When Patterns came out, I was 34, 2019, 2020, 33, 34. Yeah. So I'm not a spring chicken, but I was just like the dream just came alive again, man. And I feel like a kid again, dude. Like, I'm leaving for our first tour. I was just like the hugest smile on my face. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. Like I've wanted to do this for so long, and here it is actually happening. And it's almost like, it's funny. There's that trope, like, how do you get when you stop trying is when things actually start happening. Right. And that's kind of, what this story is, like I didn't expect anyone to give a shit. And that's when everyone started to give a shit.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing too, like, and you bring it up, like you bring up age, right? And you bring up age and you kind of put it towards dreams. And I don't think you're ever too old or too young for your dreams to come true, or things that you never thought would happen. I started the show and in my early 40s.
Mm-hmm.
And now in my mid 40s, I'm had the opportunity to talk to so many people that I have admired throughout my life and growing up and loving music and watching the music industry grow, that I never had the opportunity to talk to, never thought I would ever have the opportunity to talk to. And now I get to talk to them on a regular basis and ask them questions that a 12-year-old me would want to ask, artists that, to me, they're the hugest artists in the world, but they never got their just due. And that's why I'm still trying to bring notice to that. But my dreams are coming true still every single day. And it doesn't matter how old you are. As long as you're living, breathing, and you're here on this earth, your dream can come true tomorrow. And it doesn't matter. And you don't have to wait. And you got to go out and make your own luck sometimes. And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah, dude. How cool is that, right? I mean, especially the internet is incredible because it gives you this platform now. Like, could 14-year-old you picture, you sitting there talking to these bands that you fucking love and admire and,
No.
grew up listening to, and now you went ahead and you followed your fucking heart. You were like, I want to do this podcast, and now you get to do that. And that's the same story. And I think I tend to bring up age. I don't ever want it to discourage anyone, because if anything, I bring it up to let people know that same sentiment that you just said. You are never too old to go after your dream. Like, I think society puts a lot of pressure on people. I mean, I'm in New York City now, so age really doesn't fucking matter. But like, I'm from Long Island, man, and I grew up like when you reach like your early mid 20s, like, there's this pressure that you're supposed to have a wife and a career and a house and all this stuff. And a lot of my friends from back then followed that path. And they still pass judgment on me for not having any of those things.
Well, I was just going to say congratulations on breaking out of Long Island, because
thanks, man.
I equate Long Island a lot of times. I'm in northern New Jersey, so I know Long Island very well, and
right.
And I've always equated Long Island to, it's almost like Rikers Island. Okay,
I love that,
because
dude.
people never get out. Like, people, I've met people from Long Island while I'm out there on Long Island that never ever stepped foot off of Long Island, and I'm like, it's like a jail sentence sometimes.
It is, man. It's it's a box you're born into, and I mean, I try not to talk too much shit, because I don't want to disappoint anybody who does live on Long Island, and I still have friends out there, but it's not for everyone. It certainly is not for me. I knew that at a very early age. I mean, when I was like 14 years old, I knew I was getting the fuck out of there. It was only a matter of time. I was like, as soon as I can, I'm out of here. But yeah, I mean, I feel very, very, very grateful that I was able to get out of there, and I didn't follow that traditional path, because it definitely isn't for me.
Yeah, because a lot of the times it's not your path, right? And a lot of the people that did follow that path, maybe later on in life realize that it wasn't their path they were following. It was someone else's idea of what their path should look like.
Yeah, that is the case. I think unfortunately, like, more so than not, a percentage of the world. Like, I meet so many people who, I'll get a little drunk with, and the truth will come out, and it's just like they're so unhappy with their living situation, and I don't know. I think that's why a lot of times if you come see us live, I'll break down into this, like, I hope it doesn't come off as cheesy. It is 100% genuine, but I'll go off on like a tangent about following your dreams, because I feel like a lot of people, they give into that pressure and they don't follow their dreams. They succumb to a life that maybe isn't what they hoped for. And that is, to me, that's the saddest thing, like why do that? As far as we know, we're here one time, so, might as well fucking go after it, make it the best you can. Right.
Yeah. And that's, what I said before. And that's something that, it took a long time for me to realize is I'm here now. Right. Like I'm never going to get the chance again to do what I want to do when I die. So exactly. I'm here now. Now's the time to do it. And I got to figure out a way to do it and figure out a way to make things work. And that's exactly what it's all about. And that's what I feel bad for people who are like, no, I got to go do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. And I'm like, do you have to? Like, right. Just sit back for a second. Do you have to? Because if you really think about it, you don't have to do anything.
Right.
You just have to try and be happy, because that's what life's about. And listen, you're not going to be happy every day. You're not going to have a smile on your face every single day. There's going to be some sad and bad moments, but there's going to be a lot more happiness in your life if you just try to figure out how to schedule a little time to be happy.
100%, man. And those sad and bad moments are, there's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the human experience. And I think they just make the happier moments even better, dude. And I think, like, yeah, I mean, I try to think very positively, despite, all the lyrics that I write. I do think I have a pretty positive outlook on, just trying to chase down happiness, whatever that means for whoever is listening. Like, just try and whatever makes you happy. Just, what is that? That was it, Shania Twain? If it makes you happy, like it, that she
Not
had
Sheryl
it right.
Crow.
Sheryl Crow. Yeah. Sheryl Crow.
I'm sorry to the listeners that I knew that way too quick, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people may know that quick too.
I'm sorry that I didn't know that. I should have known that.
It's all good. So I wanted to get back into, you started talking about growing up and being a kid, and first question I'll ask is, that artist playlist under Tired Radio, did you create that?
I did, yes.
Okay, so we're going to touch on some of that, because there's a band on there that I absolutely love, that I've never really come across anybody that has really heard of them. They may have heard the name, but never know any of their music. So I'll commend you on that when we get to that point.
Yeah. Well,
so we'll get to that point.
Okay.
So, because I want to figure out, you're a kid growing up in Long Island. A lot of times in that area, when you're born, you're handed a fucking Billy Joel CD, and that's all you're supposed to listen to as a kid. But for you, when you're a small child and you heard music for the first time that connected with you, do you remember what it was like as a child when you heard a certain artist or band and it made you really stop and think, like it was no longer Sesame Street or anything, but a song or a band that you were just like, wait, can it be? This is beautiful.
Yeah. The Goo Goo Dolls. I mean, Tired Radio is a direct lyric from the Goo Goo Dolls song name.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me.
Exactly.
I've sang the praises of a punk band from Buffalo,
Right.
creating one of my favorite albums of all time. So, I mean, they are. I think they get shit on for their pop stuff, but their pop hits are fucking just as good as everything they've ever done. So,
man, I spent my entire fucking life trying to convince my punk and metal friends that the Goo Goo Dolls are fucking amazing, and I would get shit for it all the time, because all anybody ever was familiar with were after they became TRL pop sensations. Which, again, I agree, those pop songs are still like incredible. Yeah. But I would just tell people, like, no, just go back into their discography. Like, first off, their first two records are straight up punk records. Like, yeah, just like straight punk records. And then, you got like
Superstar Car Wash. That's the album that, like, it's a desert island album for me because it gives you exactly who the Goo Goo Dolls are. They're fucking pop artists who play awesome punk rock music.
Yeah, like, man. I mean, like, they were just trying to, at that point with that and like A Boy Named Goo, they were just trying to be the Replacements, man. Yeah. Who is like one of my favorite bands of all time. But like, it's like, yeah, if you like, so many of my friends who love the Replacements, I'll be like, oh, you should check out old Goo Goo Dolls. And they'll be like, you and the fucking Goo Goo Dolls again. And I'm like, I'm going to strap you down and make you listen, because everyone that ever, my friend Brian, one of my best friends in the world, I was telling him about the Goo Goo Dolls. He used to laugh at me for so many years. And then about 3 or 4 years ago, I get a text from him and he goes, holy shit, man. I finally checked out A Boy Named Goo. This record's amazing. And I was like, dude, it's been like 15 years of me telling you to check out the Goo Goo Dolls.
As long as they finally get it.
Yeah, okay. It was a great moment.
I'm in my mid to late 40s now, but when I get a message from someone who I've known since high school and we still hang out to this day, and I finally get a text message saying, sorry about giving you shit about The Cure.
Right.
Like, from high school when I was listening to, he's like, I get it now. I'm like, finally, as long as you get it now, as long as you finally, that's fine.
Look, man, we're all on our own timeline, right? I mean, It might take some people longer than others, but when it does click, like for me, the Replacements are a band that I heard when I was younger, but didn't think twice about them. And now in my late 20s, I revisited them and like immediately, like I was like, holy shit, like this band is incredible. So I put them as one of my favorite bands. So everyone's on their own path and timeline, and everyone succumbs to the goo, and eventually, man, they are.
It's hard to keep the goo off you.
It really is hard to keep the goo off you, and just let the goo do its thing, because that. To answer your original question, the reason I named this project after that song is because I have a very vivid memory of being like maybe 8 or 9 years old, and that song had just started taking over the airwaves, and being in the back of my mom's car, and it came on, and I just started crying. I don't know why. It was the first time that music had ever really just like made me feel something so viscerally and deeply. And so that song will always have a special place in my heart. Before that, like my parents weren't huge into music. I mean, of course, my Billy Joel was being played around my house. It's just a Long Island. There's a funny joke on Long Island, I forget how it goes. It's something about like, how do you know you're from Long Island? Like Billy Joel has driven his car drunk through your house. Like because I think he's done that a couple of times. But it's just
allegedly.
yeah, allegedly. I don't want Billy coming after me. But yeah, my dad, like he listened to some Beatles, more of the pop. Like his favorite song was like Twist and Shout, so that was being played a lot around the house. And then my mom, I don't know, I don't think she really listened to a lot of music at all. So it wasn't like I was raised in a very musical household. But I do, before the Goo Goo Dolls, I do remember my uncle, my mom's brother, who's a decent amount younger than her. He was like the cool uncle, and he had a Duran Duran CD with the song that had the song Wild Boys on it. And there was something about that song that I just thought was so fucking cool. Cool enough that like in second grade, I brought it in for show and tell. Like I brought in the Duran Duran CD with a boombox, and I played the song Wild Boys. And I don't know why. Like I'll look back now at that song and I'm just like, oh, this is kind of cheesy. But yeah, at that time, it really clicked with me.
And that's awesome. Like that memory, because it meant something to you at that moment, and hearing something to you and remembering that story about, hearing that song and bringing it in for show and tell. That's the fucking awesome part about music. It's the time machine that it gives us to be able to go back and remember hearing that song, remember doing that. And for you, once you got stuck on the Goo, how did you start to branch out and start to find new music? Because at that time it was still, looking at your age, it was still the MTV and still Z100s, and you're being told essentially what to listen to. How did you start to branch out and to find your own style of music? And the reason why I say that is because, again, I looked at your artist playlist, cheating and seeing the stuff that you found, and a lot of that wasn't very accessible to people.
Yeah, man, that took a while. I mean, we like discovering the Goo Goo Dolls. I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and I made my mom buy me A Boy Named Goo, and that was the first CD I owned. But from there, things spiraled out of control for a while, man. Like I think like after that, it was like I was still too young to really like.
To know what you wanted.
I was just kind of hearing stuff on the radio. I think the next CD was like Green Day, Dookie. And then after that, I started falling in love with Puff Daddy and like Puff Daddy's No Way Out. Like I got that on cassette or CD. Then I went down a big rap hole like Wu-Tang and Puff Daddy mixed with like shit like Sublime. I'm sorry. Dude, you got to find yourself. And again, This is all like pre-high school. I'm not even a teenager yet. This is the stuff that I'm kind of listening to at like 10, 11, 12 years old. And I think
like date rape at 10 years old.
Yeah, exactly, dude. Yeah, I remember listening to like, what was that Sublime saying? Wrong way. Like, staring at her tits, it's the wrong way. And being like 11, 12 years old and feeling like such a fucking badass, like it was ridiculous looking back at it. But I wouldn't say like I really started coming into my own music taste until, I reached like high school level, like maybe 8th, 9th grade, 14 years old. I started with metal. I was a huge metalhead. I like mostly all the new metal shit that was on MTV, like Korn and fucking Slipknot. I think my first screen name was X Slip Stained Corn X. so I loved that stuff. And so did all my friends at the time. And shit just changed so fast back then. So here I am in like 9th grade, loving metal. I'm buying the Jankos. I got these giant Janko jeans on. I'm wearing like spiked collars and all the band shirts from fucking Hot Topic. I got blue hair.
Man, you were ready for Woodstock.
I was fucking ready for it, man. and it's great. Like the first big concert I ever went to was back then. It was Korn and Stained at the Nassau Coliseum on Long Island. Mm-hmm. And I was just blown away by it. It was amazing. And then flash forward to 10th grade. 10th grade comes along and all of my best friends are now listening to pop punk. And I just can't get into it, man. Like, they're all loving Blink-182 and Newfound Glory, and I try to listen to it, but I fucking hate it. Like, it just didn't click with me. Like, we came from very different, like, I think the reason that the new metal shit was clicking with me was because I had a really kind of rough and tough upbringing, and whereas my best friends at the time really didn't. And so the pop punk shit was all about like, and nasally, my girlfriend and all this crap. And, all of the new metal stuff was really just a lot more dark, and it was resonating with me more. But then eventually I discovered like more harder punk shit. Like, I don't know, like we'll use Rancid, Anti-Flag, like that kind of punk is what started resonating with me. I started getting political. And then like I ditched the Jankos for like fucking cut off denim vests and just fucking went straight up punk. In like 10th grade, I just, I was still, I liked metal, but like punk was really taking over my life at the time. Yeah, so that happened, and then flash forward to 11th grade. Now I'm discovering emo. I'm getting into like Sunny Day Real Estate and Mineral and more of the accessible Long Island shit at the time, like Taking Back Sunday is blowing up, and the Used and all this stuff. And now I'm like ditching the cutoff vest for like skinny jeans and tight ass t-shirts. I'm putting like a pin on my jeans. I don't know if you remember that phase.
Oh, I do.
So yeah, I mean, I went through all these different phases year by year, just trying to figure out who the fuck I was, where I belonged.
You're a fucking chameleon is what you
dude,
are.
I was. I mean, no, I definitely was. I was a kid and I was lost. And, I was just like, I'm still fucking lost, dude. I don't know. I still feel very much like my taste is very eclectic, man. It's all over the place. So it's like, I think that was the thing of like, my friends were very easy to be like, pop punk, I fucking love it. It's all I want. It's all I need. Where I was like, I heard this fucking folk song that I love. And then here's this hip hop song that I really love. And then here, I love this metal track and this punk track. And so I was just like, who the fuck am I? And, at that time when you're growing up, you dress around the music you're listening to. Like, it was very much influenced. Like, you're an emo kid. You can spot the scene kids from a mile away. You could see someone and see what they're wearing and know what they listen to based around that. But at some point I settled, into what I am now, which is just a fucking mess. just like someone who I'm a music lover. I'm a lover of music. I don't care about genre anymore. If something resonates with me, that's all that matters. So I think, and like with punk, one thing that I found a little hard to swallow is just like punks were really just, if you listen to something that wasn't punk, you were like a poser, and I never really liked that back then. I don't know that it's still like that in the punk scene. I don't feel that way anymore. I feel like even like it's kind of become cool to say you like the Goo Goo Dolls now, which is funny. Like, it's a lot more accepting. Like, especially I think with like Spotify and all that shit, like genres matter a lot less. People just listen to whatever. But I've always been that way, man. And then, I mean, you bring up the playlist I have on Spotify, and that's more of the stuff that I discovered in my like mid to late 20s that started really becoming the music that influenced me a lot. Like, that really, I don't know, it just kind of took over, and I was just like, holy shit. Like, and most of these bands are way older, and it was just like me tapping into this stuff that I overlooked as a kid that didn't resonate with me as a kid, but more as an adult, I was like, this is it. Like, I love this shit.
Yeah. And a lot of times is too, like how hard it was back in the day to find music, and not having stuff at your fingertips to hear new stuff or find new stuff. My stuff was, when I was finding it, it was because I was, watching skate videos and, reading Thrasher and watching snowboarding videos and all that kind of stuff and hearing the music in the background. And so I'll tell you the band now, because the first time I heard it was in a snowboarding video back in the 90s, and that was the Doughboys.
Doughboys.
So I'm looking through your thing and you have Doughboys there, and Crush is one of the album, if no one's ever heard of Doughboys and they go out and listen to the album Crush, your life may change forever when it comes to music. And as a kid hearing that, and I was one of those bands that I was able to like, I rushed out. I saved all my money and I went to I had my parents take me to 5 different music stores because I had to find the album. And then I finally found it. And then I was so excited to show it around and tell, my friends, hey, you got to listen to this. This is amazing. People are like, I don't really like it. And nowadays, if I have a playlist and there's a Doughboy song on it and it comes on, somebody will always say, who is this? And I know they want to know who it is because they're like, they're going to say this is so good. I'll be like, yeah, I showed it to you back in 1993.
Right.
But that's one of those bands. And that's, another guy that John Kastner, I just follow everything he does. And I still love the music he puts out to this day, but it's just falling in love with something like that and having that opportunity to find that music and search it out. Plus, I don't think every song was great on it, but at the time I had 3 CDs and that was one of it. So I had to learn to love it.
Yeah, of course, man. I mean, at the time there was so much less to listen to. So you bought a CD and you fucking listened to that CD for a year straight, and I miss those days, man. I am definitely an album person. I still am. I'll always be. I fall in love with everything about an album. When I write an album, I think, it takes so much time to think about the sequence of that record and how the songs are going to flow, and I love records, I really do. But that being said, you see so many people not putting that care into records anymore because truthfully, I think you and I are on the outs of that. Not many people do that anymore.
No, because a lot of them weren't forced to fall in love. And that's
right.
And that's the way I always look at albums. A lot of times when you're spending hard-earned money, being an adult now, I'm a child with adult money and I can go out and get what I want now. But at the time, being forced to fall in love with something makes it so much more important to you.
Right.
As opposed to being able to fall in love quickly and move on. It's like a dating site. It's like Spotify. It's like you can swipe left or swipe right, or you can hear 5 seconds of a song and just like my wife does it sometimes. I'm like, will you fucking stop hitting next?
Right.
Let the fucking tones play out because you may be missing out on something that you're going to love for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame, dude. I mean, I don't know. When I have this conversation, I feel like I'm being an old geezer, back in my day. But I do feel as if nobody takes the time to fall in love with a band anymore. And as a musician putting out music, you're just kind of expected to put out content. It's like, man, I spent Lousy Things, our most recent EP, I spent a year and a half on those songs, and I lost years of my life stressing over those songs. And I've put so much love and time and money and energy, everything into making this EP the best that I can. And it's like, what does that get you now as a musician? It'll buy you a month of people caring. And that's if it's good, it'll buy you a month of people continue. And then it's in that month, a 1,000 other things are thrown at somebody and they just kind of forget about it. And I'm very guilty of that too. I used to be someone who would sit on a record for months. And now I'll fall in love with a record and I will listen to it on repeat for a couple of weeks or a month. And then 3 months later, I'll realize completely forgot about that record even exists. I mean, take like a couple of nights ago, I was like, I want to watch a movie before bed. I spent like an hour and 20 minutes trying to figure out what to watch because there's just so much to fucking browse, you know? And then I was like, well, it's late now. I don't even want to watch a movie anymore. And that's kind of how I feel with this, like everything with the whole streaming generation now. It's like, I'll like go to my Spotify and I'll be like, what do I want to listen to? And I'll like browse through and I'll be so overwhelmed because I don't know what to, like, there's just so much. And then I'll just like, won't listen to anything. I'm just like,
it's tough. And, you know, I sit here in my studio and I just look around, and what I love about it, I just have all my physical stuff still, like just wall filled with CDs, racks of vinyl and racks of tapes. And I can just go over. And the good part about it is I don't have to search all the way down to the bottom. As soon as I see something physical, and it could be directly in front of me, I'm like, I haven't listened to this forever. I'm putting it on right now. Instead of continue to go, because when it's right there and digitally, it's so easy to go to the next. But when it's right there in front of you and you get to grab it and touch it and go put it in a CD player or put a record on or a tape in the cassette player, it's different. You know, I did it the other night. Fucking just, I walk over and I have really bad OCD and I'm very anal.
Oh, same, dude. Yeah.
So everything I have is in alphabetical order. Yep. It's all slotted, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go over to H right now. And first thing that's there, as soon as I move the H, is Hall & Oates. So I'm like, looks like I'm listening to this. I haven't listened to it in forever, and I just put it on, and I enjoyed myself for a good 45 minutes listening to that record that I haven't listened to since I was a kid, and I was like, fuck yeah. But if I had to do that on my phone, there's no chance in hell I ever would have put that on.
Right, exactly. And that's what's fucking brilliant about physical media, dude. I mean, you know, putting on a vinyl is an experience. You know, like you have to take the vinyl out of its slipcover. You got to put it on. You got to, you know, put the needle down, and then like you got to be listening. You got to flip that record at some point, you know, like, you know, and usually when I'm listening to a vinyl, I like to like take out the insert and, you know,
sit down, read the back and wait until you hear that.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
And flip.
So, I mean, that's what's beautiful about physical media. It really keeps, you know, it keeps you engaged with the record. It keeps, and again, I don't want to shit on streaming because I don't think my band would be anywhere without it. You know, we use
it has its place. I wouldn't have found you without it.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I mean, it has its place. You know, you're allowed to shit on stuff, you know, and it's totally fine. I'm okay with where it is because people's music gets out there faster and easier, and it's easier for me to find bands such as yourself that I can hear your stuff, hear a song somewhere along the line and just be like, all right. But I know not everyone's like me, and I don't want to sit up here on my high horse but I will. But when I hear one song by a band that I like, the first thing that I'm going to do is I either take a picture of it because sometimes I'm driving, so I take a snapshot, and as soon as I have a minute to sit down, now I'm going to go listen to everything that band has to offer, because sometimes, and I've found this quite frequently, especially in today's world, is I find something I like, I go and there's only one other song, and that other song is dog shit, and I'm like, all right, well, right. A lot of people can write one good song, and I've always been able, I say that it takes a lot of talent to write two good songs. Like you have to be a different type of person. Everyone can figure out a way to write, one good song, but it takes talent to move on to that second, that third, that fourth, that fifth. And I think you have done that very well, and I commend you for doing that.
I really appreciate that, dude. I do. It didn't come without many years of bad songs. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
It was, I feel like it took me into my 30s to figure out who I was as a songwriter, and where learning my strengths and my weaknesses, and just it's crazy. I mean, once I was able to tap into that, it opened up the door. I was just like, oh shit, okay, well, all these years I think I was trying to emulate this band or this other thing I liked about this band, and I wasn't focusing on being my genuine self. And then it was like that's what Tired Radio became. This project to me is like, it's really more of a fucking diary than it is like a band. Like, it's really just my darkest, deepest fucking truth. And the whole, like,
that's why it's good.
I think that is why it's resonated, because my number one, look, there's a lot better bands out there, man. I mean, we are not like, I don't write these technically incredible songs. They're actually really simple songs, but I mean, they're just genuine. They're straight from my heart. And I think that people can feel that. I do believe that, because I don't see why else we would have, gotten to where we've gotten as a band. Because it's definitely not for the sake of like, I'm doing something insanely cool musically, because my songs are really simple, man. I'll be the first to say it.
You're not doing anything different to stand out. But what I think is a good definition of success is the truth. Right. And what you put out in your music, and where you did have that kind of change is you started playing and letting yourself be truthful to the music you're creating. And that's why the success comes, because you're just like, listen, this is the truth. And if this doesn't get through, then it doesn't fucking really matter, as long as I'm okay with it.
Exactly, man. It was about succumbing to being as vulnerable as possible. Again, because I never expected many people to hear this anyway. So it was really, I think, in creating this project for myself as just an outlet, as a way to get these thoughts out. It just, people can feel that. And there's a lot of people that feel the same way. When I put out Patterns, it was funny how many people messaged me about the line in the song Mostly Downs. That's like, it's 2 a.m. It's 2 a.m. again. And here I am Googling the best ways to kill myself. I had like probably half a dozen people like message me about that particular lyric, that they've been there. And it was, it was so, it was like, it was really validating and beautiful to have that connection. But I also just was like, I felt, it's hard to be like, oh, awesome, man. When I feel like, I'm sorry that you're also in pain, that sucks. But yeah, I think a lot of people are struggling, and I think they found, a lot of comfort in my lyrics, because, I'm just speaking from the fucking heart. So.
Well, brava, buddy. Brava.
Thank you.
Now, we are going off and into other areas and things. And you brought up earlier going to your first big concert, Nassau Coliseum. Mm-hmm. Do you remember your first, small concert that stood out to you, like a VFW or something? Because you seem like a VFW concert kind of kid at one point. But do you have any, musical moment that stands out that while you were there, it kind of validated what you wanted to do with your life when it came to music?
Yeah, man, I would say for all the shit I give Long Island, the music scene there is and was and has always been fucking amazing. Like, especially when I was growing up, like coming up playing music in like the early 2000s with my high school band, like that.
What was the name of that band?
We were called Slim to None.
Okay, not terrible. Not
terrible, not good. I think we had like a notebook full of names we were trying to figure out, and then we were like in my buddy's
school. The name of your band's more important than the music you're playing.
Dude, exactly. I don't even think. Yeah, we didn't even have songs yet. It was just like, what are we gonna call ourselves? And then we were like in the basement for like hours, and then I don't remember if it was like our bassist was like, what are the chances that anyone's like we're ever gonna fucking make it anyway? And we were like Slim to None, and then that's how that fucking came about. But that the scene at that particular time, especially where I was from, like was insane, dude. Like the VFW show, the VFW hall shows were incredible, but like we also had we had this place called the Sandlot, which was, I've talked about this before because it's amazing to me. It was so inspiring as a kid. This dude, Sergio, I was like 14 at the time. He must have been probably like 22, 23. And he found like this secluded spot in the woods in Holtzville, Long Island, and just kind of built like 2 stages in the woods and called it the Sandlot. And on the weekends, we would just like go into the woods and just like have all day shows and grill up hot dogs. And like, it was such a fucking awesome experience. So those Sandlot shows were super inspiring to me. That was like when I first started like playing music, and I was like, yeah, this is the scene I want to be a part of. This is amazing.
So it made it easy. And that's why a lot of times, like when you mention like metal and punk and all that kind of stuff, and that DIY stuff was kind of what I always say made it easy to think someone, you know, kids like us could do it, right? When you see other people that look just like you doing something, it makes it easier to attain. You know, it's not Twisted Sister. You're like, I can't do that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like I go to my first concert at 13 and I see Korn at Nassau Coliseum, and I'm like, it's hard to envision myself, you know, on that stage doing that. But, you know, then a year later, I'm discovering these DIY punk shows, and I'm watching these bands just fucking tear it up and people just going ape shit, loving it, you know? And I'm like, oh, this is me, you know? What's holding me back from, I can do this too, if they could do this, you know? So it was super inspiring. And then just the community around it, just like everyone wanted to support each other and help each other, you know? You fall down in the pit, you lift the motherfucker up, you know? Like, yeah. Which I loved that. I just, to me, it was so, going to metal show, like going to the Korn show, it wasn't like that, you know. You watch people kind of beat the shit out of each other, and it was a lot more like, it was less community and more just like, I'm angry and I'm gonna hurt someone. Whereas this was more like, you know, I'm gonna rage, but, you know, I'm gonna care about my fellow human. And that's always been, you know, I have a soft spot for you know, being a good person. You know, look out for your fucking fellow human, you know, lift each other up. And punk was all about that. I mean, that the scene was all about that. And so, yeah, it was fucking awesome.
It's awesome. Now, for people that haven't heard Tired Radio, that maybe this show is their introduction to them, what song of yours currently released would you play for someone that never heard your band that you think would best describe what Tired Radio is?
Interesting. I actually had a dilemma this morning because we're playing the fest down in Gainesville this year.
Yep.
And they made an official fest playlist, and they chose our song Down in Flames to put in there. And Down in Flames is probably my favorite song that I've ever wrote to this point. I love that song so much, but it's a bit of a departure from, I think, what we sound like mostly. So I was like so torn. I'm like glad that ears are going to get on that song, but I was also like, I don't think that this is the best representation of Tired Radio. I would probably, oh God, it would be between Old Keys and Making Plans off of Patterns. I think if I'm trying to get someone new who's never heard Tired Radio to want to explore Tired Radio more, those are the 2 songs I'd probably show them, only based on, not because that they're my favorite, but only based on the fact that they have done kind of the best. They have been, you know, quote unquote, commercially the best, streaming wise. Like, people tend to really harp onto those songs. So, you know, I guess that's why I would show them to them.
Okay. All right. Cool. No,
what about you, Shane?
Tales of a Cosmic Schmuck.
Oh yeah. Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, I fucking love that song. You know, I just, like, to me, that's another kind of, I feel like it's a bit of a one-off. Like, it's a bit more bratty and punkier than like and more like up tempo than the mid tempo shit that I typically write. But yeah, that's cool. I'm glad.
Yeah, well, and if I go back to patterns too, Send for a Hospital, only because it reminds me of the Jawbreaker stuff, and if I knew somebody like Jawbreaker, I'd be like, here you go, man.
Yeah, dude. So Send for a Hospital is the song. Like that is the song, in my opinion, that fully embodies Tired Radio. I mean, I remember writing that song. It came out. I struggle a lot when I write. Sometimes songs take a while, but like that came out in like fucking 5-10 minutes. It was so natural, and just the chorus, like the words in the chorus of that song, I don't know, to me, they just represent me and my struggles, and just what it's like to deal with, my level of mental illness. And that fucking song to me is like my whole heart. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. And for people that know, we didn't plan this. I don't plan this. I pick the songs that I like, that resonate with me, and sometimes it's exactly what the artist meant it to do. So.
I will confirm there was no planning of this conversation.
Now, for you, is there a band in your life? Let's remove the Google Dolls because we touched on them. But is there a band in your life that no matter what you're going through or anything, they never let you down? It's something you can always turn to and listen to, whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood, or a lot of times when you don't know what you want to listen to, you always turn to this band. Rolling Stone, I always say, Rolling Stone calls it, what's your favorite band? I don't. I look for bands that never let you down, like that you constantly turn to.
Yeah. I guess there's two that immediately come to mind.
I always have two because they're like completely different. So
yeah. One of them is, I don't know if you're familiar with, I'm sure you're familiar with Mike Kinsella of American Football.
Yep.
His solo project, Owen.
Yep.
Yeah. Owen is a huge, I mean, I can listen to Owen anytime. Like, I fucking love Owen. I remember the first time I heard Owen, and it was actually before I ever heard American Football. And that's how I discovered American Football, through Owen. But I was just like, this is the best shit I've ever heard in my life. So yeah, Owen is definitely a fallback. I never get tired of listening to Owen. And Weatherbox. Do you know Weatherbox?
Yep, I do. Yep.
There's something about Weatherbox, man. No matter what mood I'm in, if like, again, I talked about earlier, like not knowing if I'm like scrolling through and I'm like, I don't know what to listen to, I could always put on Weatherbox and let's just like let them do their thing. They're just like, no matter the mood I'm in, it's like this fucking rules. Yeah, those are I mean, obviously there's more, but those are definitely the first two. I have a tendency to ramble, so I'm getting better. I'm getting better at like just like being like, okay, these are the first two, because I'll sit here and go off on like fucking 25 bands, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it.
I know that kind of question too is always hard, because I can sit here and a lot of times people always say it changes. Like I have my top 5 and my 5th one is interchangeable with 118 other bands. Right?
Exactly, so, dude.
It's just one of those things where you have something that you can stick to and confide in and tell your deepest, darkest secrets out loud while you're listening to it. And that's always for me. Like I have 2 bands that are always 1 and 2, and they're interchangeable between 1 and 2. And I know that's where it starts. And then everything else after that is just, it is what it is. And they can be interchangeable at all times.
Well, what are those 2 bands? Now I need to know.
1 and 2, and it's no particular order. The first, I would say, the Posies.
Okay.
And then number 2 is Face to Face.
Oh,
so 2 completely different, types of music, but no matter what mood I'm in, any album from either of those 2 bands are just going to go on, and it doesn't matter. I will be totally content. So.
Yeah, I mean that's an incredible thing to have a bond with a bit. Like I feel like music a lot is so mood related. It's like, how am I feeling today? But to have a record or a band that has a whole discography that you could just press play no matter your mood, and it's like, this works.
Yeah.
is a special bond.
Yeah, and knowing everything about them and being intimate, and again, going back to what I'm doing now, and having a relationship with the bands before I even had a show like this, and being able to talk to the people in the band and seeing them and them remembering you because you see them so many times, and like that's the kind of stuff where what we're doing here today is falling in love with an artist that you may never have the opportunity to do so, and having that kind of connection with that music as well is kind of what constantly keeps it 1 and 2. And basically since the day I heard them back in the 90s, they've always been number 1 and 2 in my heart for bands. So, and just ever and constantly growing no matter what.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And yeah, speaking of, man, let me just what you're thank you for doing what you do, dude. Like, for giving bands a platform to like let people maybe get to know an artist a little more. I think it's really fucking cool. I'm always listening to podcasts. I've listened to a couple of your episodes. Most recently, I think you did one with Sergey of Ways Away.
Yeah, Sergey. Yeah.
That was great. That was a great episode. But yeah, I mean, I think it's great, dude. It's fucking awesome.
Well, I appreciate it, and that's where sometimes I've reached out to bands and that I want to be on, and sometimes I'll get messages back. They don't think they're right for the show because they'll see like a Sergey on the show or somebody who in the scene has done so much, but is never like still has a day job, right? And still, like, to us they're big, but to the world they're not. So and that's always the thing for me, and that's why I go back to artists of bands that I've loved and people who I think should have made it. Having a John Easdale from Dramarama early on, like, they're a band from the 80s that were fucking phenomenal and that just never broke, but they're still creating music and created an album, like 2 years ago, guys in his 60s, and the album's still fucking amazing. It's like, people need to hear the talent. And that's why sometimes I get really fed up when, I have a niece and nephew in their early 20s and they'll play me a song and I'll be like, oh, you got to listen to this, Uncle Shane, because they know I'm a music nerd. And I'll be like, what is this fucking garbage you're trying to send to me right now? And I'm like, this. And listen, I'm not going to shit on people. I'll be perfectly honest. The new Jonas Brothers song, I gotta fucking say, don't know why. It sounds like a Hall & Oates song, so I'll just separate it from there. Yeah. But it's those things, like, it fucking kills. Last year I did it too. I'm like, remember the band Hanson with Bop? They put out an album, and it was last year, and it was fucking phenomenal. And I'm like,
really?
Yeah. I'm like,
dude, I'll have to check it out, man.
I'm like, so there is great music, but there's also shit music that fucking rises to the top. Meanwhile, talented people such as yourself that are bringing the truth to the music and putting your heart and soul on there and writing it and doing it yourself sometimes gets overlooked. And that's what upsets me. And that's why I do what I do. And, I make $0 doing this. I lose money on every episode, but my mission is to take people like you and bands like you that speak the truth, write good music, and put your heart and soul, and you can tell, because that's why I fall in love with it, and just give you something else. Because for some reason, and I don't know what it is, and it is just the white noise that's interference before you get, too tired radio, right? It's the name is synonymous with kind of what is going on. People are tired of it, right? They're tired of the radio. They're tired of the white noise, and it's really hard for them to find stuff. And if I can get one more person to listen to you, that's my only goal. I want millions more, but that first one that's going to listen to you and tell someone else about you, that's the only goal that we have here.
Yeah. And every single fucking person that does come across one of our songs and it resonates with them, to me, is just like, it's the coolest thing in the world, So whether it's one or a million, it really doesn't matter to me, man. I had low expectations here. I'm just happy, that for anybody to discover us in a world where it's kind of hard to do that, and like, so.
Well, I think that's what's beautiful about it, right? I think you having that in your mind with the low expectations and just doing what you wanted to do is where I think that's your biggest win. I think no matter who listens to you and who falls in love with you, I think that right there is the most important part about the music you've put out, is that you won by just doing it. So,
oh, dude, 100%. I mean, there are times where I'll be feeling down and I'll just go back into my photos in my phone from our tour in Europe last year, like opening for the Get Up Kids, and I'm just like, like, what the fuck? Like, I hit the lottery. Like, I have done shit that I never in my wildest dreams would have thought would be able to do. And what I'm most happy about is like all the friends I've made along the way now. Like, I mean, I have met so many of the best people doing this, and that's why like I'm going to continue to do it for as long as possible, because it's amazing. Like, it's truly amazing. And I just feel lucky. Yeah, I feel lucky that anybody gives a shit at all. So yeah.
Well, we give a shit, and we hope other people will too. So
hell yeah.
Well, I don't want to keep you forever, because you do have something very big going on in your life, leaving for Europe for tour tomorrow. And I appreciate you taking the time and wanting to be willing to do this and open up and give us some insight. And hopefully when you come back from tour, we can talk again and talk about all the crazy shit that happened in Europe.
Fuck yeah, dude. I feel like we're just like, it's so funny with when I do podcasts, because like I'm looking now, glancing at the timer for the first time, and I'm like, oh, we're over an hour in here, and it's like I feel like we're just getting started.
Listen, we're just on the surface, and this is one of those things where I know that maybe we did accomplish our goal by two assholes becoming friends in a short period of time. There's a callback, folks. We full circle. But I think we accomplished things, and I know when I didn't look until I looked and was like, oh shit, we've been here for an hour. That you are connecting, and that's exactly what we want to do. And you and I connected, and I feel close to you, like we've been friends for years, and we've known each other for now an hour and 8 minutes. So
right. Well, we're two passionate assholes, dude. Yeah. It's hard to find the passion still in people with music, and like when you do, it's like, I fucking love you. You're my best friend. Like, yeah. Like,
and honestly, that's where a lot of this show really did come from. That too was me talking to strangers at shows, where I came up with my line is, when you're at a concert, they're not strangers, they're just friends you haven't met yet, because you're there for the same thing, and music brings that commonality and that bond. And no matter what you're doing or where you're at or what band you're seeing, you can always find someone in a crowd that you're going to connect with, because you're all there for the same thing. So
hard agree, but I also think it's funny that you use that quote, because I'm staring right now. I have like this little sticker situation by my bed, and there's a picture of a dog that looks kind of sad, and above it says, "A stranger is just a friend you haven't disappointed yet." I love that.
Yeah.
It's bleak, but it's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. And I hope you had some fun here today, because you're going to be probably stressing a little bit here in a couple hours flying across to Europe. And listen, if there's anything you can take solace in, is that today you did meet a new friend and you got a fan for life. So, thanks for doing what you do.
I love that, man. Thank you very much.
So we're going to roll into our final segment here, so we can get you out of here. But before that, I'd like to give you this opportunity to throw out, I know we did a bunch of stuff on the internet and streaming and all this kind of stuff. But you have to have some handles for people to find out what it is you're doing. So right now you can take that time to tell everybody how to find what Tired Radio is doing.
Awesome. So social media, Instagram is the place to be. It's tired_radio. We have a Facebook. I don't get on there much. Sometimes I feel bad because like someone will comment on something on Facebook and like I won't see it for like a year because I kind like Instagram has made it easy to just do share to Facebook and like I just don't go on Facebook. But you know, we are on there if you're a Facebooker. I think it's like facebook.com/tiredradio music. There is a TikTok situation, but again, don't even bother. We're on all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Deezer, all that stuff. We put out a new EP called Lousy Thanks back in March, and there is an LP in the works that will hopefully be out. Well, knowing myself, it's definitely not coming out this year, but hopefully come out next year. I think that's everything. We're going to be playing Fest in October in Gainesville, Florida. I am really, really, really excited for that. Fest weekend is my favorite weekend of the year, and I think that show is going to be so fucking rad. So if you're going to Fest, come see us. And yeah, I think that's everything.
Awesome. Well, we'll throw all those handles up too on all of our pages once this airs. But we're now into our weekly 3 segment where you appeared previously on one of our shows. It's 3 things you're listening to right now that you'd like people to check out.
All right. This ties back into like, really only 3?
I'll give you an honorable mention because I have an honorable mention because they've already been on a couple times, but it's because the album's so fucking dope that I can't not listen to it. So,
okay, I'm gonna start with a band called Entropy. Entropy is a German band. I was recently turned on to them by my friend Jason, who runs a blog called Release Wave. And if you're looking to discover new music, dude, you and Jason need to hop on a call or so. Oh, we're all local, like tri-state area dudes. We should just hang out.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I'm in Brooklyn a lot for shows, so we will definitely get together.
Sick, dude. Yeah, he is like, he shares our passion and love for music. And so he texted me recently and told me that I needed to check out this band from Germany from the early 90s called Hillside. They had one record out. He sent me a Dropbox link because you can't fucking find it anywhere. I'm gonna send it to you because I think
send me the Dropbox link.
You will love this record. It's so good. And then he told me that the same dude from Hillside now has a new band called Entropy. And the reason I'm mentioning them over Hillside is because you can actually listen to Entropy without a Dropbox link. They're on streaming services. So they got like that kind of Swerve Driver, hum, kind of feel. Really, really fucking good. Yeah. So yeah, they have an album out called Liminal, which came out in 2020. And now they just released 2 singles off of an upcoming record that are also really good. So Entropy I've been listening to nonstop. What else? Where am I gonna go next? Wait, you do 3 too, right? Am I correct? Is that how this segment works? Can we do like a one-on-one, or is that against the rules?
No, we hey, listen, I create the rules as we go along.
Okay, I love that.
All right. So then I'll give you one. One of mine is a band called Cheem, CHEEM.
Yes. Love Cheem.
Is Guilty Pleasure. It's I just put it to you this way. There's something for everyone on the album to like, no matter your music stylings.
Cheem fucking rules. I don't remember how I discovered Cheem. I think like Spotify gods fucking threw them my way. And I was just like, I remember I was like, oh, this band's going to be huge because check out Cheem. I am fully on board.
I like how you have a Spotify god because I have a Spotify devil who threw the Red Hot Chili Peppers into one of my mixes that I made, and I was fucking furious because
it came
on with people around. They're like, I thought you fucking hated the Chili Peppers. I'm like, I didn't fucking do it. I swear to God.
Yikes. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Chili Peppers fan myself. They're fine. I don't know.
Whatever.
I really wouldn't want them coming up on one of my playlists. Yeah. I feel like I want to highlight smaller bands. I obviously could throw a shout out to the new Hot Mulligan record. I've been listening to that a lot, but they don't need my.
Yeah, but it's what you're listening to. So it shows what you're listening to at this time. It doesn't have to be cool. You don't have to go smaller bands. I do that.
No, I just want to I want to fucking give some support to my small guys. I feel like it's really important to keep the smaller, the fucking local scene growing, Hot Mulligan.
I agree too. Yeah.
I've been listening to the new Hot Mulligan record. Love it. I guess we can call that number 2. But with that, I'm going to tie in that I'm going on tour starting tomorrow. I'm leaving with this band called Uber You, who are a Swiss punk band. And they are just the greatest bunch of dudes in the world. Sweetest guys, incredible music, best live band I think you can ever see. So
what's the name of it? Uber You?
They're called Uber You, Uberyu. Yeah, I love them, and I'm very excited. I'm playing guitar with them on this tour with No Trigger, and it's going to be so much fucking fun.
Awesome.
So yeah, I kind of doubled up my number 2 there with Hot Mulligan and Uber You because
you're on pace for 6 right now.
I'm gonna cheat because whatever.
We're allowed to do whatever we want.
Exactly.
So I'll go number 2, smaller band, another Brooklyn-based band, Semaphore. Name of the album is I Need a Reason to Stay. If you were ever into, let's see, Failure, Quicksand.
Oh, hell yeah.
That post-hardcore stuff. Newer band, Semaphore. It's Semaphore. Name of the album is I Need a Reason to Stay. It is totally along those lines. Maybe a little bit more towards Ken Andrews. For those who don't know, Ken Andrews from Failure had another band called Year of the Rabbit. Maybe more along the lines of that, but it's definitely loud, noisy, good vocals. It's just good stuff to listen to.
I am putting that into my Spotify as we speak for some listening when we're done here. Semaphore. Beautiful. Awesome. I guess it's my turn, huh?
Yeah, it's your turn for number 2.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same fucking thing I just did where I'm going to tie a bigger band and then a local band in. And by local, I just mean smaller.
Yeah.
The new Lies record, obviously being a Mike Kinsella diehard, he just released a record with his cousin Nate Kinsella, and that record, I love it. It's so good. It's so different and interesting. A lot of electronic based stuff going on because Nate is wild like that. And yeah, I really love that record. And I'm going to pair that like a fine wine with this band called Hernia. Have you heard of Hernia?
I haven't, but I'm putting it down, so I will.
I think you're going to really dig Hernia. I'm pretty sure that they're from Sweden or Denmark. They have like a real Husker Du kind of vibe to them. They released a new single pretty recently called Wasted Youth. That's amazing. And I fell in love with them last year. They released a single called Eyes, which was the first thing I heard from them that like I had that song on repeat over and over and over again. So yes, those are my 2 there.
Awesome. So that's a great 6 for our weekly threes.
Dude, I'm so sorry, man. I'm such a piece of shit. I can't help myself.
It's totally fine. I'm going to have 4 this week because I have an honorable mention because it's one of those things. But the last one I have on my 3s is Free Friends. I don't know if anybody knows Ben DeHaan. He's kind of a pop punky guru out of the Baltimore area. He has his own stuff, but he has his band with his wife that's called Free Friends. The name of the EP is Blank Check. So if you're into like pop punky stuff, like the Blink stuff that you don't like, that's a perfect thing to go to. But my honorable mention is a band that I've already named previous week and I think it's going to continue because what happens is I attach myself to an album for a season, and it's kind of already taken over to be my summer album, but it is because it's perfect. And when there's a perfect album, it's something that's hard for me to get rid of. But the new Versus the World is so amazing, and I just think everybody needs to listen to it. The name of the album is The Bastards Live Forever. Maybe not that bastard in the back of that ambulance going by, but
New York, baby.
These bastards live forever in my heart. But that new Versus the World album, I'm telling you, if you listen to it, if you don't fall in love, you're a soulless cunt. That's it.
Oh man, I love that. Yeah. Okay. When you said the name, I said, "Oh yeah," as if I knew who they were, because my drummer sent me a record by a screamo band called Versus Self or Verse Self, and I thought that's who you were talking about. But now I just Googled these guys, and this is not who I was thinking of.
No,
so
it's from Lagwagon and Good Riddance, and the
awesome.
album is I can't stop sharing it with people and telling people about it. So it's just so fucking good.
I got some shit to listen to now on this plane ride tomorrow.
Awesome. But Anthony, again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for spending some time with us. And, most importantly, it's thank you for creating the music that brought us together, because that's the important part. It's the music that brought us together. Love what you're doing. I wish you nothing but the best in the future. Your music deserves to be heard around the world, and that's exactly where you're going now. And I really want nothing but the best. You're a good person, good dude, speak the truth, and I had a lot of fun with you here today. So thank you so very much.
I appreciate you so much, Shane. Thank you. I mean, everything you just said, I could just say right back to you, man. The fact that you have such a passion for music and that you recognize how special it is that it brings people together is fucking awesome, dude. We need more people like you, and we got to keep this thing going. And yeah, thanks for having me, man.
It's my pleasure, and we're going to try to keep this thing going. And everybody out in the world and around the world, where Anthony will be soon, you know what time it is. It's time to go out, listen to Tired Radio, and have a great fucking time. Thanks again for tuning into the Hidden Tracks podcast. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at HiddenTracks99. Also, send all your submissions myhiddentracks99@gmail.com. Tune in next week. You may find your new favorite band, and don't forget to go out and have a great fucking time.